Today we'll talk about the NOT NULL constraint. We'll talk about what the NOT NULL constraint is, why we need a NOT NULL constraint, and how to use the NOT NULL constraint. But before I get started, I think it's a good idea to talk about what a null value is, because there's a lot of agreement, there's a lot of debate about null values, and there's a lot of articles written about it. But to keep things simple for this video, I'm going to define a null value as an unknown value or a missing value. And what a null constraint is, it's applied to a column in a table, and it tells SQL Server not to allow any null values into that column. So if a user inserts a record, they must have a value other than null to go into that column. So the NOT NULL constraint guarantees you that that particular column will always have data. So why do we need a NOT NULL constraint? Well, this depends on your business case, but a simple example, let's say you are working on you are a company that sells a physical product and ships it to customers. Well, in that case, you want to grab the name of the customer who's buying your product as well as the address to ship it to them. So when designing the database for that system, I would place a NOT NULL constraint in the customer's name as well as the address, because that's must-have data, and I would not let a customer place an order until you have that data. And how do you use the NOT NULL constraint? Well, let's create a table and apply the NOT NULL constraint into a column, as well as there are two different ways to do this. Of course, you could create the NOT NULL constraint when the table is created, or you could go and create the NOT NULL constraint after the table is created. So let's do both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table called currency, and I'm going to give it to a currency ID, and I'll make this an identity to keep things simple. Identity 11, and then alright, I'll make this the currency ID the primary key. Okay, so let's run this query, and I made a mistake. Of course I can't spell. Alright, so we just created the table called currency. Let's do a select everything from the table. So as you can see, the table is created. So, and look, we have currency code, and we did not apply any kind of constraint on it, which means that we should be able to go and insert null values into this column. I mean, we did not apply a NOT NULL constraint, so we should be able to go and insert null values. So let's do that. Let's insert a record into the table, and I'm going to keep this alright, so voila. Since we didn't specify a NOT NULL constraint for the currency code, we are able to go and insert a null value. But let's drop this table and then recreate this with a NOT NULL constraint for the currency code. So let's add a NOT NULL constraint here. So now if we create this table and run this query, it will fail because we have a NOT NULL constraint. Yep, and it did fail, and with the error message saying that cannot insert the value null into column currency code because the column does not allow null values. So that's one way to go and add a not null constraint when the table is created. I'm going to drop this table and then take out the not null constraint, and then I'm going to show you guys how to add a not null constraint after a table is created. So let's go and create the table here. So do a select. Yep, looks like we have the table. And then I'm going to go and alter the table and add a not null constraint. And this is done by typing in alter table, name of the table. Here it is. And then alter column. And we'll change the currency code and make it not null. And hit run. Again, if we insert a null value into the table, it doesn't allow us because we applied a not null constraint after the table was created. And that's it for today. I'll upload some more videos later on, maybe next week. Check out my blog. I'll leave the link below this video. Bye.